What was that game that came out recently about you play as like a swan?
I mean, Leicester. I mean, you look at this guy.
This guy looks athletic, mate.
He looks like he should be an intern at Google.
Did you ever play Crash Bandicoot?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I love the Crash games. Yeah.
Oh no, you can't say that, man. Rayman's my favourite game.
I've just never liked the guy. So this is what you do your research now, man. Because I can't remember what it was now. I can't remember what company it was.
This is ridiculous. Where did you find all these games, man?
I don't know how much of this we're going to use.
Yeah, no, it's funny.
What would you click in that scenario?
Can you hear it?
Nah, I can't.
Oh no.
Man, you can have a lot of editing.
I can have so much to do, man.
Earthworm Jin's like culturally accepted.
Sorry, I need to redo that. I was burping. Too much beer. So this episode, we thought that we'd go and we'd find some games that have terrible protagonists. Oh fuck, that's what we forgot to do. We forgot to bloody record the bloody thing, didn't we? So I'm recording the Zoom call now. So now if anybody's watching this, then the video starts now.
So you missed all the good stuff.
So I missed the intro.
So can you screen share now as well?
Yeah. So I'll screen share.
Man, you can have a lot of editing.
I can have so much to do, man. I've got my work cut out for me.
Right, so the 5 worst protagonists in games of all time. I haven't actually ranked them yet, so I'm thinking we could probably rank them together.
Oh, good shout.
Yeah, so I mean, there's one called Leicester the Unlikely. I don't know if you've ever heard about this dude.
Leicester the Unlikely. Yeah.
So type in Leicester the Unlikely. So my first impression of this guy, probably that second video down, I reckon.
Yeah. Here we go.
There you go. So this is obviously a game on the SNES, I believe, in 1993. Is that what it says? Yeah.
Should I skip ahead?
Yeah, just skip for a little bit. I mean, Leicester.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at this guy.
This guy looks athletic, mate.
He looks like he should be an intern at Google. Like
he does.
I'm pretty sure he's wearing Vans. I don't know. He might be wearing Vans. I think he's wearing a hoodie. And he's got this kind of like odd, bizarre walk about him. Apparently, apparently, this is what a geeky teenager looks like. I think that's what the game designers want it to look like.
I've never heard of this game before.
Yeah, and he's kicking turtles, and he's sort of kicking turtles in. That's kind of like Crash Bandicoot must have stole that, I think.
Mate, straight up.
Doug, they must have stole that. But yeah, there's a level that looks suspiciously like Shinobi levels from back in the day, like the Sega Mega Drive. Yeah, there is one level that looks very, very similar to that. But yeah, so I don't know where this guy's going to rank, but I'd rank him pretty high.
Oh, I'd rank him high. But he seems like a bit of a legend, doesn't he?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
This is jokes.
Kicking the crap.
I'm definitely gonna look this game up once we've done this. Yeah. Right, should I move on?
Yeah, let's move on. So
cool.
So this is one you have probably heard of. I'd be surprised if you ain't.
That's why it ranks high.
Michael Jackson in Michael Jackson's Moonwalker.
Damn.
A game based on the 1988 film with same said person.
That is mental.
Yeah, this is a crazy game. And you know what the craziest thing about this is? You have to save little girls.
Oh, for God's sake.
Like, literally. Like, obviously this was way before the allegations. But yeah, this is pretty interesting. So I think this was based on the film. I've never seen the film, but this doesn't exactly entice me to go and watch it. But I mean, I don't know many games that have been based on musical artists. I'd off the top of my head, I can't think of another one.
No.
I'm sure if mum or dad are watching this, then you can.
Then they'll probably won't know either because they don't play games.
Suggest another one, but yeah. If anyone ever watches this who knows a game that has, I know the musical artist in it, or as the lead protagonist, then feel free to
drop a comment in it. Drop a comment.
Yeah, drop a comment. All right, so that's the first two. So you need to be keeping a good memory of these now because we're going to
Keeping
rank those.
tabs. So we've got Google Intern and MJ.
Yeah, Google Intern and MJ. And so the next one is going to be. This is really going to offend some people. I'm going to go for Rayman.
Oh no, you can't say that, man. Rayman's my favourite game.
I've just never liked the guy. I mean, I think I played the first game on the PS1. I want to say late 90s when I was about 9. So
yeah.
And I don't know what it is. I've just never really liked the guy. He he doesn't really seem to have any backstory, which always found that always pissed me off a little bit. He was just kind of like
exists.
He was considered like the guardian of his world, and it's like, why? Well, the guy hasn't done anything. Right. So why hasn't he got any legs or arms?
I've no idea. Actually, I know why. So he's got no legs or arms because he was easy to animate. So the developers were like, damn, yeah. He was made by a French developer. I forget their name. Yeah, bought by Ubisoft though. But yeah, this was the first game I ever played, man.
Ubisoft in the later years, isn't it? But
yeah.
I don't know, man. But yeah, can never trust the guy with no arms and no legs.
Just never trust the guy. This game, yeah. This is probably why I do design stuff now, because I started playing Rayman and started drawing him in sketchbooks and stuff, and I started like doing like little stories like involving Rayman, like.
Yeah, that's kind of what I did with Pokemon, I think, back in the day. Like,
really?
That was my kind of like.
That was your calling.
I was always drawing Pokemon in little books and stuff.
See, this level in particular took me like, I remember trying for months to get through this, like months.
Yeah, games back in the day, they were seriously hard, and you couldn't just go on YouTube and like search how to do it.
Mate,
like,
you couldn't.
You had to work it out, or even back in the 80s, I think, like for listeners that are going back a bit further than that, like you'd have to like ring into the developers and shit like that, and like
really be like, look, how do I do this?
I was gonna say, like, have you ever seen the Netflix documentary on what was it called? High School, I think it was called.
No.
It's actually a really good documentary. I think it's about. I only watched the first 2 or 3, but it was really cool. And they're just going through sort of like the history of games and stuff like that. And
sick.
I think I can't remember what. So this is why you do your research now, because I can't remember what it was now. I can't remember what company it was. I guess it was Nintendo. Let's just say
yeah.
It must have been Nintendo. And they had a whole office of people that had to know their whole back catalogue of games, because people would ring in and be like, how the fuck do I get past this?
What is this bullshit?
Can't do it. Yeah, so
do you know what?
Ring in and just say like, you have to do this, and they'd have to know the games inside out.
That's mental.
Yeah.
What gets me is the things you have to do to find a secret on old games. Like, do you remember on Crash? Do you ever play Crash Bandicoot?
Yeah, of course.
Crash 2 specifically.
Yeah.
So did you ever get all the coloured gems?
Nah,
in Crash 2.
I wasn't that hardcore, man. I wasn't
right.
That hardcore.
So there's a coloured gem, right, in a level in Crash 2 where it's in like a sewer level, and you get to the end of a pathway and there's just loads of like nitro crates and a crate, and at the end of it, like, to get the coloured gem, I shit you not, you have to just jump through the wall. You have to clip through the level, and then there's a coloured gem. Like, it just goes against all kinds of like just this. I don't know. I'm not an expert, but it just goes against like the practices of game design. Like, you just have to be like, you know what? I'm just gonna like jump through this wall, like, and just get this gem. Like, and I actually remember discovering it as a kid, and it made sense. But nowadays
they don't know.
Wouldn't fly.
They don't know, man.
Yeah.
They get it easy with games. Like,
they do get it easy. You get handhelded heavily.
Our generation, no, they don't get it easy with games at all,
mate.
At all.
Do you know what it's called? It's called gamer intuition, mate.
Gamer intuition. That must be it. Right. So that's going to offend like everybody that ever listens to this podcast. But
yeah. So yeah, that's
you try.
This guy's definitely
bad protagonists.
That's definitely not part of it. Have you got any more? Got any more protagonists?
Yeah, I've got 2 more. So
right.
The next one is called Mort the Chicken.
Mort the Chicken.
Mort the Chicken,
mate. Mort the Chicken. This looks like fucking Earthworm Jim.
So this is 3D. 2000, believe it or not, on the PS1, which is
really
quite late. When did the PS1 come out? 1997 was it?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I want to say
97,
around
98.
about that. It's kind of like
But I'm
every
not
8
sure.
years. I think the PlayStation brought out a console every sort of 8 years, something like that.
Yeah. That's just
Back
like a
when
speed run.
it's
Choose a
probably
different video.
this was probably about the year that I got my first PlayStation actually.
Yeah.
You know, so Mort the Chicken. So let me just read you an excerpt from, I want to say, the game about the backstory of Mort the Chicken. So the chickens live peacefully in an alternate universe where chickens are the dominant species, and Mort the Chicken is a star of his own television show. In another universe, cube-like creatures called the Boolean, which is pretty smart, I think. They're called the Boolean.
Mate, this game is sick.
Chickens. The leader of the cubes, General Cubicles, notices that the chickens have stacks of hay, and Cubicles mistakes them for kidnapping citizens of their universe. While Mort is filming his own TV show, the cubes reach their universe via a dwell and kidnap all the baby chicks, scattering them across the cube universe. Mort, being the only brave one enough to stop the cubes, jumps down the dwell and starts his adventure to save the baby chicks. So,
mate, this game.
I'm sorry to the developers, but they must have decided on this game pitch when they were like fucking high, like seriously high, because I can't work it out at all.
This is ridiculous. Where did you find all these games, man? Like, I thought I had like a good I thought I had a good working knowledge of these, but I've never heard of any of these,
Nah, I had to delve deep into the dark
Had to really go deep.
Of game development to find these.
Mate, this is absolutely lit.
These are games that probably only sold like 500 copies, maybe.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Look at that, he's picked up a spring.
Back in the day, I wouldn't mind, but this sort of art style is probably on the way back.
Yeah, 100%, mate.
More developers are starting to, think, right, why try and make things ultra realistic? We can't
literally.
We can't compete with the budget of the AAA games. So
it looks like something you'd like expect to see as like an indie title. Like what was that game that came out recently about you play as like a swan or a goose? I got it on the Switch, and you play as like a goose. No. It's probably it's a spiritual successor. But there's a game. Wait, let me find it. There's a game where you play as a goose. If I just type in Switch goose game, but you've got to go and like annoy like a farmer and like so this is called Untitled Goose Game. That's why I couldn't remember it. Yeah. And you have to just basically go around like annoying people as a goose.
Sounds like a great game,
mate. This guy would definitely be like a top tier shit protagonist because he's just such an arsehole. Look at him. You got to go like open the gate, like annoy this farmer, like pick up his carrots. Watch this advert.
Watch an advert. YouTube.
It's like a bit of free advertising.
And this was released recently.
Yeah. So this was I want to say last year or the year before. 2019 actually, because I think we were playing it while we were still allowed outside.
Back in those days.
Back in those...
the glory days where we were still
halcyon
allowed
days.
outside. Yeah.
Ugh. So yeah, look, I nicked someone's lunch. Anyway, next one. Fire away.
The last one, and this has got to be a character you've heard of. His name's George Stobart from the Broken Sword games. So if you've never played these games, it's like point and click adventure games, heavily immersed in dialogue. I was playing these games since I played the first two when I was like probably about 12 or 13.
Damn.
So yeah, this guy, he's probably like another love-or-hate character, but he's possibly the most boring, sensible, white-collar protagonist of all time. But you'll love the art style. I think.
Mate, it looks really cool. Yeah, it genuinely looks really cool.
The art style was great. The dialogue was left a lot to be desired. His character, I think they deliberately made it boring. Personally, I think it's kind of like a little in joke because in the later games he actually has a job as an insurance salesman. So I think that's a bit of an in joke from the developers, I guess. Another French company, I want to say.
Really?
Yeah, could be wrong though.
But yeah, this is cool. Did you ever play Grim Fandango? I think that's I think that's the name of it.
Rings a bell. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And it's made by the same developers who made Day of the Tentacle, which I think is another big point and clicker. I haven't played either of them, but sick, man.
Yeah.
Actually, looks a little bit like an episode of Arthur.
Yeah, the animations are pretty cool, and I mean the art style's great.
It's really cool, yeah.
And this game, though, I think this is the first Broken Sword, I guess. This game is the game that has included the infamous goat puzzle. If you've ever heard of the infamous goat puzzle,
I haven't.
Search the.
Should I type it in? Broken Sword goat puzzle.
The goat puzzle, Broken Sword. So this was one of the main angst of my sort of teenage early years, going into teenage years. I was on this for days, and a lot of people have struggled as well. There was a really, really difficult scene. Yeah, this is the one. So you have to get past this goat. So obviously it's a point and click. So what would you click in that scenario?
In this scenario?
Yeah, what would you click?
I would the goat.
The goat, yeah, and he sort of like has a little dialogue with him. What else?
Yeah, there's a little bit. I listen to maybe check the ladder.
Yeah, the ladder, and if you check the ladder, then you get knocked back.
Yeah.
So I think this guy sort of goes through it, I guess.
Yeah.
But it was so strange and so stupid. Like the developers put in basically for the first time that if you double click, George Stobart runs, and it never happened in the game previously. So that was a way to get around.
And this didn't let you know.
You had to click on the ladders and then let him knock you over, and then quickly double click on the other side of the picture, and it was like, what? Like this is another one of those moments of like nowadays gamers would be like, all right, I'll just go on YouTube and just sort of watch someone else that's done it. But back in the days where we didn't have YouTube and we had to actually figure games out for ourselves, we either had to wait for the latest edition of like PlayStation magazine and like see who's been moaning about it, or that's it, you just suffer. Like, and this was pure suffering back in the day.
So in this particular scene you can run and that's it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure
that's
this was
ridiculous.
The
That's mental.
in this game that you could run if you double clicked, and it was like a time sensor basically. So like the developers set up a time sensor. I think the guy goes through it now. So yeah, he's walking over. He's going to get knocked over by the goat, and now you have to quickly double click while the goat's sort of like, say, there you go.
Mad.
But I'm pretty sure that's the only time you could run the game. Like you'd never been able to run like prior to that, or it wasn't something that was like a regular mechanic of the game. Do you know what I mean? So it was like very, very strange.
That's crazy. So how excited were you when you finally got it?
I think it was more.
I bet it was I bet it felt good, mate. Just went like sank a beer, like.
Yeah, I'm not even sure if I ever did. I'm not even sure if I ever did complete it. Maybe I completed it like sort of in my. It was that long ago in my memory. Maybe I just sort of like completed it in my head or skipped past it. I can't remember, but yeah, it was one of those very, very daunting days.
One of those.
Everyone has them, but.
So how did you figure it out? Were you just like furiously clicking everywhere?
Remember. Yeah, I'm not going to say that I can remember, but I think it was a case of like I just asked other people that were playing the game, and they might have told me or something like that. It was one of those. Right, so how are we going to rank these? So if Raymond's in there, obviously you're going to put in bottom.
Rayman, like, obviously isn't involved.
Isn't in there, so now we're
like. So I'd go for the worst. Well, the worst one. Shall I go for the least worst first?
Yeah. So the least worst.
I reckon this guy, least worst, is quite bland, isn't he? Which could make him the worst, but I can't really remember him. So I'm gonna go least worst. And there's three more, right? Rayman, him, Chicken, Apple in turn.
MJ,
and MJ. That's it, MJ. Then it's probably gonna go MJ because he is just pretty shit as a protagonist, I suppose. But we'll put Michael Jackson there.
Good artist, but shit game character.
Then I'm gonna say the Chicken because I like the chicken, and you know, I want to rate the ones that I like the best, like kind of higher. So like, in a way, that the number one spot gets the one that I like the most. So the one that I like the most is the apple in turn. He seems really cool, man. Yeah, less than unlikely. Like he just, there's something about him that like, just funny. Like
I love the way he's an apple intern now. He started off as a good intern,
like,
but now he's got a new
now he
job
turns
at
to
Apple.
Apple. He's defected.
Less than unlikely is the worst protagonist of all time.
He's got to be. He's got to be the worst. But you could look at the list the other way around, to be fair, at the same time, because I'm voting for him because I like him the best. So maybe the worst protagonist of all time
So
is
George
this guy right here
Stobart
from
could be the worst.
worst protagonist. Yeah.
All right, sweet. I am absolutely dying for a piss.
Same. Should we take a piss break and come back and quickly chat about how we think it went?
Yeah, we could do. Hold on. We'll go for a quick piss break.
Grab another beer as well.